Hey there everybody, happy Friday. Welcome back to our Tacos virtual mode here for our Talk About It Friday, where we talk about all the questions you've had over the course of this week. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go! Alright friends, so the first question that we have for today is, when you are old, what do you think children will ask you to tell stories about? Well friends, I think that children are going to ask us to tell stories about what we are living in right now in 2020 and the pandemic. So friends, whether you like it or not, right now you are living through history. You're living through
crazy world history.
Things are going on that have never happened before, and if so, they happened a long time ago. So this is history. I had this professor back when I was at UW-Marinette that talked about things that he lived through in history and how it was back when he was a child. And you know what? I think this is exactly what I'll be talking about when I'm older and talking to children or my grandchildren or something like that. They're going to ask what the year 2020 was like, and I can tell them about how we had to quarantine for months, how I've been working from home all this time, how the
world went crazy.
And everybody was told to mask up and we could...
Toilet paper was all of a sudden just disappearing off shelves.
This is something we can tell our kids about. So I guess this is kind of a way to look at it positively, if that is a way to look at it positively. We've had all these crazy things going on in our lives over the course of the past few weeks, but the thing you can think about is this is what you're going to be able to tell your kids and tell your grandkids that you lived through, and you can tell stories, and I'm sure there are plenty of things that have come up, even though this is such a broken time and so much pain and suffering is going on. We are living through history, and it is something that we'll be able to share our experiences with the future people of this entire world. So that is how I would say I would answer that question. Now, turning from that kind of strange question of how we're going to take and learn from 2020 and be able to share our stories, the next question is a relatively fun one, and it also is talking about stories, and I have a story for it. And it is, have you ever had to break the news of a sibling injury to your parents? If so, when? So friends, as you likely know, I have only one brother and we are twins, and I have one story precisely to talk about when my brother was injured and I had to go and present the news to my parents. So this one time, we were playing a rather
interesting form of sport.
And I want to say a disclaimer right now, I warn you never to try what we did because it was not the smartest thing to be doing, and I don't recommend playing this for any of you kids out there and any of you tacos. I don't recommend doing this with your siblings because it
Probably won't end well.
But what we were doing was we were playing soccer on scooters. Yes, friends, that's right. We had our razor scooters, and we were kicking a ball around and playing
soccer.
We didn't really have a goal. It was just kind of out on the street. And, you know, bad things can happen when you're on scooters while playing soccer. So what happened was there was some kind of collision. I don't really remember. It was so long ago. But we collided, and Lance ended up going and falling off of his scooter and hitting his elbow very hard. Now, likely you have siblings and you've had it, like these kinds of run-ins where things happen, and you know it's bad when they
don't get right up.
So I was kind of laughing it off and everything, and Lance is on the ground, and he isn't moving, he's not doing anything, he's not getting up. Well, it looks like it's my turn to go in and tell my mom about what has happened. So I walk in, I tell her what's happened. It surprisingly didn't go poorly, where the parents kind of freaked out.
Thank you, Mom, for never freaking out about it.
But we ended up having to
bring Lance to the hospital.
And he had a weird injury. He had where there are fluid sacs in your elbow, and his burst. And there is a picture in an album somewhere at my house of Lance's elbow being about 3 times the size and very badly bruised. He had to wear a sling for a few days, and that was it. But other than that, I've never had any broken bone stories with my brother. I never had any crazy altercations where we had to go in and talk to Mom. It was just that one time. But it was the one time that Lance really did get hurt, and he had to go to the hospital, and that was... that'd be my story for if you ever had to warn your parents about the injury that your sibling sustained. So, that is that question. Okay friends, we have 2 this or that's, and I'm going to try to get through them really quickly because I have some exciting things to talk about after them. But the first one is, if you're out on a walk, would you rather be listening to music or listening to a podcast? Now, I would say that my answer for this question has evolved over time. I was always a music person, and I had an iPod, as you've seen on these episodes before. I had an iPod Nano, and I would always listen to music if I were to go on a walk. But I think right now, in the way that 2020 has changed our lives and everything, and how podcasts are getting bigger, I have a few podcasts that I love to listen to, and I would say that I would listen to podcasts over music. I'm kind of a news junkie, and I also like to listen to some really interesting Christian-themed podcasts, so I would say I would go with podcasts for that answer. Now let's get into the second one, which is one about ice cream, which the question is, when it comes to ice cream, would you rather have it in a dish, or would you rather have it in a cone? Now my answer is very strict on this. I have very sensitive teeth and I don't like to bite into ice cream. And I also don't like when ice cream gets all melty and runs down and
Hits your hands and everything like that.
I don't like it. It makes me very anxious, and so I'm always racing if I have a cone. So I would much rather prefer to eat ice cream in a dish. Dishes are safe. When your ice cream melts, they collect at the bottom and you can eat it at the end. You don't have any mess unless you spill on yourself, which I try not to do. I do sometimes, but I would rather go with a bowl because it's a safer option for me. I don't have to worry about biting the ice cream, which I don't have teeth that can handle biting ice cream. And I don't have to worry about spillage or anything dripping and getting all sticky on my hands with a bowl. So I would definitely say I am a bowl. So that is all the time we have for this or that's for this week. Now let's get into something really fun that is going on right now for tacos. So friends, as I shared with you last week, we are helping with Era's Senior Network and making Christmas ornaments again this year. We did this last year. We helped with Redeemer United Church of Christ and their Wednesday night mission projects. And I have reached out to our friends at Era's, and as you know, they said that again they are looking for Christmas ornaments. So what I have done, friends, is I have gone ahead and pre-packaged a bunch of ornaments for you. How this is going to work is right now at Christ Our Savior Lutheran Church at the east side entrance, there are 2 benches outside of the entrance. On the right side bench, there is a box that is labeled Tacos Ornaments. So what you can do is you can go over to this bench at Christ Our Savior Lutheran Church, open it up, and on the left side you will see that there are a bunch of pre-packaged ornaments. And they are labeled with things like, so I have a few samples here that I'd like to share of what kind of ornaments I have that I laid out for you in these baggies. And one is a snowflake like this, so you can make a snowflake that is pretty much just pipe cleaners. And then there are stickers in there that you can place on the top, so you can do these. You can also make these little reindeer that are made out of clothespins, right? These are clothespins, yep. So you can make these reindeer. There are supplies for those. There are supplies for these popsicle stick snow people with pipe cleaner hats and buttons and things like that. And then there are also, I don't have them with me here at home, but there are also items for making snowman heads with eyes and like buttons and carrots. So you can do that. They are all pre-packaged in little Ziploc baggies on the left side of this. And what you do is you can go to church, pick up as many as you want. All you'll need are glue for supplies other than what I've lined out for you in the baggies. And what you do is you take as many as you want, bring them home with you, make them up, do them all nice and pretty, and then you bring them back. And you'll see when you go to church that there is one side that is designated for pickup, and there's one side of the box that is designated for dropping off. So you'll pick them up, make them at home, bring them back, and set them in the done side, and then I will be collecting all of them, and that's how we'll keep it all organized and really awesome and nice and like kind of hands-free of anything that we can have with interactions, because this is a crazy world, as we mentioned with the first few questions. But we are making ornaments for Era Senior Network, and I have helped you out as much as I could with putting supplies together. So if you want to make ornaments for the Era Senior Network and all the seniors that are within that program, you can go to the east side entrance of Christ Our Savior Lutheran Church, pick up supplies, bring them home, and then bring them back to church once you're done. You can also, I'm not saying this is the only way you can do it, you can also pick up your own supplies and make whatever ornaments you did. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had an option, so you can go to church if you want to, or you can make ornaments on your own. It is up to you. The deadline for these ornaments are going to be December 10th. They need them by the 11th, so we're going to cut off at December 10th. So from now until December 10th, we will be making ornaments. I hope to see that many of you are coming out and that we get those ornaments picked up and then brought back in. And I know I will be making ornaments for the next few weeks, and I hope to see you doing that as well. So that is all that we have for today's Talk About It Friday. Thanks for quickly listening to the questions that I had and also giving me time to talk more about our Christmas ornament making with the Era Senior Network. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. If you're hunting this weekend, good luck, because I know it is the gun deer season. I will see you next week, Monday, with more motivation as we continue into this crazy world. See you later, everybody.